And that's why I said when a man says I don't need a woman, that he's not talking about relationship. He talking about period. Because women don't run society. They don't build businesses. They don't run infrastructure. So for a man
they
to say,
reproduce, wouldn't be, we can't populate without women.
We understand that. I'm not removing. Okay, so, and I said this when I had my soliloquy. We need y'all for intimacy, procreation, and expansion of family.
It's a necessity.
Removing that, it's value set. But when a woman says I don't need a man, and to your point, she's referring to relationally. They don't say that part. Men don't have the ability to say we don't need men because that'd be a lie. We know that we can't win the championship without other men. We can't win the war without other men. We can't progress in society without men. We actually respect men more than y'all respect men, and your very survival is predicated on our existence.
Welcome back to the channel, everybody. We have a video from the Lapeef Network. The video will be posted down below pertaining to what and if women actually bring something to a relationship. Let's get right into it.
So I agree with you, Naomi, that a lot of times you do hear women, say, I don't need a man, or I want a man, but you don't hear men say that. Men typically say, I need a woman. In this space, I beg to differ. I do hear that a lot about, men saying that they don't need a woman either. But more along the line, I guess the question is, what do men need women for? And I guess y'all can answer that more so. What do men need women for?
That's gonna depend very much on that man's plan and vision he has for his life. But typically, if we're being honest, the survival of a man is not predicated on a woman's existence in his life. That's just without fact. If he wants to expand his family, he's going to need a woman to do that, health, on a health level, right? But it's different. Most men, I think, when they're approaching relationships, they're operating from a place of like truly emotion, spirituality, the intangibles of sorts. Women bring nothing to men that they need, like truly need. I think the hierarchies of need is very basic. It's spelled out for humans, but that's going to be predicated on that man. We tend to give women a lot more value than they have, but because it's valuable to us. So what may be valuable in my life from a woman for me may not work for Hink, may not work for Edgar. It's going to be predicated on what I decide because I picked her. I had a vision. So I need her to fulfill this. And then in turn, that is, it's valuable or invaluable. But yeah, that's what it is. It's the conjunction of family. Other than that, men typically could live their entire life, in my opinion, and have no need for women outside of the moments of passion and things of that nature. And then I'll answer.
So you disagree with Naomi?
In what way?
Because she said that men don't say that.
Men typically don't say, well, okay, men may say it because when Naomi said it and I heard it, I think men may say it and it means something different than when women say it. Because typically when women are saying, they're referring to survival. They're referring to him bringing and elevating her life and sustaining it. When men say it, this is true. Men don't need a woman because women are not in the position normally to revive a man's life. So when they're saying it, that's what they're saying it from. Maybe it is ego, maybe it's pride, but that's typically what they're saying. And it is true. It's proven fact that men don't need women for them to survive. That's kind of irrefutable.
So through observation, I agree with everybody's point on it. Everybody had good points, the ladies, right? Because we're on people who can really speak on that. You're asking a woman.
This is absolutely true. This is absolutely true. One of the biggest things that he hinted on was that we overvalue women in this society. And it is true. I'm not saying that women are just terrible people, that they're just useless. But what I'm saying is, if we look at society, this is ran, held up, and innovated by men. Like if men weren't here, then there would be nothing. But we hold women up in the same regard. A perfect example is that we're equal. Everybody's saying we're equal. I'm like, no, we are not. No, we are not. There's no equality in this. So, but even still, men don't go around saying like, oh, we don't need women, we're strong. And we don't do that. But women who absolutely need us will continue to look us dead in the face and say that they don't need us. And then go as far as to say that they're better than us. It's ridiculous.
So through observation, I agree with everybody's point on it. Everybody had good points, the ladies, right? Because we're the only people who can really speak on that. You're asking a woman, right? But if you look at action, right? I believe a man is a great value to a woman. But if we must be honest, we have single women on this panel, and we probably have a man checking for us, and we will not give him an opportunity.
You don't want that
which
man.
means you don't need it that much. You understand? Because I need to eat. I'm hungry. I have to eat. That is a need. So I'm going to eat. But if you have a man who is checking for you and you are saying no and you're continuing to be single, there's something in that that's more so of a want than a need. Does that make sense? Like you're continuing. So what I'm saying to you is you're continuing to go to your, because I think it's like you just stated in your argument, True. There's a reason why you need a woman, right? There's a neat reason why a woman needs a man, but can you live your life without one? There are women who do it every day, right?
But not
only
they're not
30%
happy.
of Black women are even married. So majority of them have to do it daily, right? Now, when it comes to like mistakes, instead of you break it down, you like the infrastructure building, we're not going to take the value out of men, right? When it comes to what they bring to society and to the world, we appreciate that. Yes, we need men for that, but we're just talking about romantic relationship. That's something that this is a very different conversation than society needing a man. You understand what I'm saying? So it's, it's got people who want women who want women.
I totally.
Can I ask you a question? My bad, True. Shaq, can I ask you a question though? So you said that a lot of these women have men that's checking for them, right? Would you also agree that a lot of these men that's checking for you guys are the type of men that you don't want? Would you agree with that?
I have a partner.
I'm just saying, like,
what I'm saying to you, according,
I'm saying that like most of it, I'm just saying like in regards to if this was your dream guy, so to speak, right? A lot of women would go for that.
So we're not talking about dreams here. Everybody will go for their dream partner. That's the problem. That's the one, right?
But if he checks the list off of the type of man that a lot of women say that they want, right? And if he checks the box off, she's gonna typically go for him, right?
She's gonna jump on it.
So with that being said, that doesn't fall under the one aspect. That just falls under, okay, well, he's not checking the list off, so I don't want him in that sense, right?
Well, that's the reason why. Like, I'm glad, Shan, you put a preface on it, right?
Yeah.
The conversation, I don't think is fluid in the sense that men need men to survive, right?
Everybody needs men to survive.
Okay, but we're defining it. We're landing it and putting it under the confines of a relationship, and that's why I said when a man says I don't need a woman, that he's not talking about relationship. He's talking about period, because women don't run society. They don't build businesses. They don't run infrastructure. So for a man to say,
reproduce, we can't populate without women.
We understand that. I'm not removing. Okay, so, and I said this when I had my soliloquy. We need y'all for intimacy, procreation, and expansion of family.
It's a necessity.
We're moving that. It's value set. But when a woman says, I don't need a man, and to your point, she's referring to relationally, they don't say that part. Men don't have the ability to say we don't need men, because that'd be a lie. We know that we can't win the championship without other men. We can't win the war without other men. We can't progress in society without men. We actually respect men more than y'all respect men, and your very survival is predicated on our existence. But on the adverse, it's not the same, because your existence, we only need so many women to populate the earth in a sense.
But you need a woman.
Again, I'm not removing that. Men understand this, and I'll land. When we're saying that we want a woman, it's for a particular reason. And typically it's something in the confines of intimacy, intangible things. But y'all do not benefit us in a survival-like basis, almost on any metric. And that's the difference. And I think that's why it's like laughable when women say, I don't need a man. Your very existence is us. Your job that you covet, man, your idea of success, men gave it to you. So it's like blasphemous for women to even say that crap. And, but I'll let.
I don't know who this brother is, but this man is cooking flames, add salt and pepper. This man is cooking. And what he said is absolutely right. It is women will always say, but you need us to have children. When we talk about need, like, do we need the other person? We're thinking about survival. A man can survive until his natural end of life, and he live a happy, fulfilled life without a lady. A lady cannot do that because her body's going to start breaking down around 30 something. She's going to really start slowing down, getting tired. You see it every single day. Even there are women even in their 20s like, I don't want to work anymore. Breaking down, crying at work. Men don't do that. Women are not built to survive without us. It just is what it is. Because that's it for today's video. Check out this video right here. This is what happens when men versus women in sports. Completely egregious. And I'll see you on another one.